Now, I might be a bit weird in that I love turret-based heroes. I love heroes a little bit more PvE focused, or at least build things, or have that sort of a theme. I love them. Iggy Scorch, unfortunately, was never really quite that hero, and always seemed to be missing something. People have wildly different expectations of what he should be, what they think he should be, what implementation was best in their opinion. I tried my best with this hero rework idea. Yeah, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a hero rework idea video. I am Sylphin. It's Iggy and Scorch, but a few things right off the bat. One, hero passives are coming back, and we need to think of something for each of our heroes. So what is that passive for each and every hero? How does that help them do their thing and accentuate their reason to be picked in the draft lobby? Two, I like the idea of a quest mechanic, or what I'm calling a Paragon mechanic. If you do something that accentuates their niche, their gameplay style, their reason to be played well, if you do that well, if you do the whole purpose of picking that hero well in the first place, then you get rewarded, and the ability and your abilities or ability gets empowered and does better things. Like that idea. So we're thinking of something for that for each of our heroes. Four, I think that heroes need to be based around a strong gameplay niche and theme. Each and every hero needs to have a core reason for you to go, aha, I need this hero in this match, in this draft lobby, because of these reasons against these heroes, etc., etc. You have to have that, or else each hero, there's no reason to play them. There's no reason to play one over the other, because if they're all the same, they all do kind of the same thing, nobody does anything differently, well then, that's boring hero design and boring gameplay. So we have to think of a niche and a theme and accentuate that through their kits. What is that for Iggy and Scorch? People have differing opinions, and this is what I'm going for. If you don't like this, I'm sorry. I think he can be a zoning, sieging caster. Lower health, medium range caster, which is weird, but he has a lot of utility in that he's a high presence. If he can set up, he's a high presence and deal damage over time and control entire areas. He's huge. Zoning and sieging potential is where a lot of his strength comes from, and he's a caster. Deals good damage. Maybe more appropriate to call him a mage, but not really. He's a caster. So stats wise, he was a bit of a problem. He needs low health and armor scaling as a caster, because we're not necessarily making him a durable, get-in-your-face sort of Iggy and Scorch. He's not that Iggy and Scorch. He's more of a mobile, lower health, but turrets everywhere sort of a turret hero. That is him. I really did enjoy a meaty, chunky Iggy and Scorch. I did. But everybody enjoys being tanky and dealing lots of damage. Everybody enjoys that, right? But unfortunately, I think that he still is better as a lower health. He's a caster. He's fairly squishy. He does some good damage, but has a lot of utility and has zoning and sieging potential. So that's the kind of Iggy and Scorch we are going for here. Good ability damage, stats, and scaling. What is a passive for Iggy and Scorch? Iggy collects parts on the ground that drop from all minions, heroes, map and siege objectives when killed, empowering his turrets. If you guys played Gazlo before his rework in Heroes of the Storm, he he's like that. Gazlowe can still collect parts, but it's more of a talent now for him. Whereas this is baseline for Iggy and Scorch. He collects parts off the ground, and they changed Gazlowe because they wanted him to be a little bit more of a team fighter and not rely on picking up these parts and pure split pushing. Iggy and Scorch will still be able to do that with this, but still have this passive. Turrets gain 1 additional health and 0.15 damage per part, stacking 200 times. 200 health and 30 damage, 30% more health, and 50% more damage. Remember, they don't do too much damage, especially we're removing one of the dots from, I believe, his turrets. Just stick with me. Heroes and objectives drop more parts. So if you kill a hero, or a hero is killed around you, they drop more parts than if you were to just, you know, kill a minion, for example. So, and that stacking 200 times, it doesn't have to be 200, it can be 150. I did some quick math with, like, you know, one minion kill drops 1 parts, and I did some rough math, and 200 would be, I believe I did. That would be somewhere in the late mid-game or something like that, mid-game-ish, something like that, or late game. I kind of forget. So that can be whatever it needs to be around the late mid-game, say. Around late mid-game, that's what the stacks could be. Flame turret. These are here. It's a core fundamental of Iggy and Scorch. Summon a turret within a 800 unit range with 220, 360, 500, 640 health that shoots projectiles at nearby enemies. Projectiles, it's not a flame turret, within ranged basic attack range for 40 seconds. They last a little bit longer with, you know, with the new gameplay, probably not going to be as fast as Monolith was, so everything has to be longer cooldowns, longer durations, stuff like that. Maximum 3 active turrets, 7-second cooldown. Turrets will focus the target last hit with a basic attack, so you can focus the damage of your basic of your turrets. After collecting 50 parts, which is somewhere at the end of the early game, I do believe, or potential, Iggy gains 1 extra active turret. So now you have 4. Essentially, basically around the end of the early game, something like that, you'll have 4 turrets. Just in the early game, so you're not a beast with turrets. You know, if you get ahead or something, you don't have like 4 turrets and you're just completely impenetrable, that sort of a thing. So you gain an extra turret after collecting 50 parts. That's his quest mechanic, even though his passive is basically a quest mechanic. So he kind of has 2. He kind of has 2, even though they're not the most compelling thing about him. Sprint. Iggy spurs Scorch. I've brought back his movement speed oil thing, increasing movement speed by 25% for an increasing duration, so that in the late game you get more value from it for split pushing, stuff like that. Scorch leaves an oil trail behind him, slowing enemies who touch it for 1.75 seconds. It can ignite or it cannot. It was never that effective anyways. I'm sure it wouldn't really affect anything if it was ignited anyways. 13-second cooldown. So it's a slow and it's a good getaway for him when he's split pushing. He will be squishy from his scalings, so he needs some mobility to kind of get away, increasing amount in the late game so he's not completely untouchable in the early game. Molotov, it's the same thing. Iggy flings a Molotov that deals ability damage over 8 seconds, stacking ability shred and burn stacks on enemies hit. This is the only damage over time effect on Iggy and Scorch. His turrets do not proc any sort of dot, which was a big problem. As in order to kill his turrets, the biggest things, you had to take both the turret damage and then a stacking dot, which even in the late game on Monolith, at the end of Paragon, a carry would take like 10, 15, even 20% of their damage just trying to eliminate a target at the end of Monolith. And that was broken, because if he had 4 of them, he could put down another one if he was all like, it was too much. The dot is only on the Molotov, not on the flame turret. Lasting 8 seconds from the last accrued stack, 18-second cooldown. So this, you have to place a little bit more. You have to synergize it with the rest of your team's crowd control, stuff like that, in order to get more of the value from it, the damage over time and the stacking ability shred, stuff like that. There you go. Now his ultimate, the more you think about it, I think the more you like it. You're probably not going to like it right off the bat. It's called Deploy. Iggy deploys 3 additional turrets in a line at a target location. These turrets enhance the damage and health of all other nearby turrets within 1,500 units by 4, 6, 8, 10%. Sorry, that should be 4, 6, 8% or 6, 8, 10%, something like that, including themselves. These turrets do not count towards his maximum, so he can, for 40 seconds, have 7 turrets. Maybe that's too much. Maybe it can be only 2 turrets, or it doesn't enhance the damage or health. I think it needs to enhance them somewhat, but maybe for a shortened duration. These turrets do not count towards his maximum, or maybe that empowered only lasts for 10 seconds or 12 seconds, something like that. 140, 130, 120 second cooldown. It has to be long. It has to be, oh boy, we really need this objective. I'm going to put additional turrets down to really make sure we get this objective. Ooh, I really need to defend this tower. I'm going to put some extra turrets down. Ooh, I really need to ensure that I siege this tower down. Let me put it down. You can't use it willy-nilly all the time to have 7 turrets all the time. No, with the 7-second cooldown on flame turret, you know, it'll take a commitment. People will have to let you deploy your turrets down in order to really get monstrous presence for the siege and zoning. That's a really hard thing to, you know, to deal with. And this Iggy and Scorch, I think is more appropriate. Do I like it more? Maybe. I think it's more appropriate. You know, a meaty, tanky Iggy and Scorch that's more melee range. That didn't work. A tank, you know, I like this. What do you guys think down in the comment section below? Because Iggy and Scorch is hard. He's really hard. A lot of people really love him. A lot of people really hate him. A lot of people have interesting ideas about what he should be. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this Iggy and Scorch rework. Please like the video, like it, dislike it, share it with the community. Of course, guys, subscribe. I would love to hear your comments down below, and hit that bell notification button to be notified of new content coming out. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.